Good morning and happy Monday, Cane Train. Welcome back to Beat the Bell, presented by Cane Cap. We're excited for another week of trading. And with us this morning, we have a phenomenal set of head traders, a phenomenal panel. Let's get into it. Coach Dipka, good morning. How was your weekend, brother?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Did some work for the Discord, for my trading, ready to go. I'm fired up. Let's get after it.
Love it. Love to hear it. Money Mander, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. Good to be back. Feels like forever. I missed one episode, and of course it was, the one I'm getting bombarded with questions about Carvana, Coach going on about, the rally on Wednesday. So good to be back.
Yeah, you'll have your shot at redemption today. Don't worry. All right, Noah.
What's going on, guys? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm excited to get after it today.
Ramsey Rippers.
Morning, team. Let's go.
All right, and Stock Sniper.
Good morning, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend. We're going to have a great episode right now and hopefully a great day of trading.
All right, let's rip it. Let's get into it, guys. Fed forecast, going over to Money Mander and Diamond. What do you guys got for us? What is on the economic calendar this week?
Yeah, so this week's economic calendar is going to be pretty light, actually, ahead of the pretty crazy week that we've got next week. So let's check it out. We've got some manufacturing data coming in today at around 9:45 and 10 o'clock. Balance of trade on Tuesday. Quarter over quarter numbers on Wednesday and Thursday, so nothing too crazy. I think the highlight of this week is really going to be on Friday when we get those month over month PPI numbers coming in at around 8:30. Now, the PPI story is going to be really interesting because if we look at PPI year over year, what we'll see is that we had a peak back in March at around like 11%, and it's been steadily declining since then, right? But what that's actually doing is reflecting those year over year comps where PPI was already starting to get a bit elevated towards the end of last year and into early 2022, right? So when you're looking at those year-over-year numbers, they're going to look a little bit better. If you take a look at the month-over-month, we are actually like in a slight uptrend since the July lows, right? Where the month-over-month numbers haven't been quite as attractive, although year-over-year numbers are still coming down from the peak. You can see that month-over-month PPI isn't actually dropping as much as you would really like to see it. We had a slight blip down in October relative to September, so we'll see if that small trend can continue or if those July lows are going to hold in the PPI numbers. So we'll take a look at that coming in on Friday, and then obviously next week we're going to have CPI numbers and FOMC. So next week should definitely be a lot of fireworks, and Friday will kick that off for us.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that as we get into like March and April of next year, how we were talking about even if the CPI and PPI numbers may be up month over month, they're going to look like drastically down from these year over year numbers, which I think will be a stimulus for the markets. But I have to get this off my chest. Listen, I haven't been on here since Wednesday. I was dead wrong. Coach had his segment. Coach had his day. Everyone saw the 10 videos on Twitter. Listen, all you can do going into a binary event is do your homework, do your due diligence, look at what happened historically, and then put yourself in the best position to trade your conviction with a high risk to reward. And so that we did, ultimately we were just wrong, and that happens, right? Evidently in this scenario, Jerome Powell didn't say anything new, but the markets were hoping that he didn't me and Dime were kind of this position where nothing new would not be bullish, right? We figured we were already up on this rally. We needed to either have something crazy come out, something new, even more dovish, or hawkish would roll us over. I really did not feel that regurgitating the same 5 sentences he says every single time would have rallied another 160-point up leg. Ultimately, it did. And so, Bulls, listen. Oh, that was so much better in my head. Congratulations. That was honestly a well-earned rally. We'll see if it can hold. SPX hasn't closed over this year-to-date trend line, but, we'll see. I have a question here for Diamond, too, a little fun fact I found. So, in any bear market rally, if you take the bottom of the bull market and the top of the bull market, and as you sell down that, after crossing under the 50% retracement, no bear market rally has ever rallied to get back above the 50% retracement and then gone on to set newer lows. So that being said, Ryan, if we can pull up this QQQ chart, hypothetically, I saw this circulating on Twitter a lot. If you stemmed a bottom from the COVID lows up to all-time highs, we got a rally off the 618 and have now closed above the 50. And so by definition, right, if you're going to claim that the bottom of the COVID low was the start of a new bull market, we're now above the 50. No bear market rally has ever then gone on to set lower lows. So, Diamond, what do you think about this? You think the bottom may be in QQQ?
Well, I think it's very difficult to call the bottom of 2020 the start of the new bull market, right? Because we did obviously have the flash crash from COVID, and that's where we get that massive correction. And when you look at a chart, it makes sense to pick March 2020 as, that low. But in reality, like the bull market started in like 2015, 2016. So it's like, I don't think it's really fair to use 2020 as the bottom. And if you're going to do that, I think that's completely fine, but you have to put that into the context, right? We have a completely different scenario than we've had a lot of the other times that we're coming off the highs, right? We had the massive crash in 2020, literally based off of solely COVID, right? It wasn't necessarily like an economic thing that really caused us to enter a bear market, enter a recession. And then after that, we get unprecedented stimulus, right? Which sends the market unprecedentedly high. And then after that, we have unprecedented rate hikes from the Fed. So there's a lot of unprecedented things going on right now. And for you to use a classical framework that really refers to when things are normal, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. So yeah, I think it's anecdotal and somewhat irrelevant in my opinion.
Yeah, I was trying to give the Bulls something. I thought you might have jumped on that and taken the bait. I'm saying the same thing. If you want to peg lows, I feel like you got to peg them from 08 when they put rates at or near zero for over a decade. That's what really stemmed this entire leg up. We really haven't seen a significant pullback since then, if you're going to look at it. And then QQQ was trading at $30 a share. So obviously have not retraced much when you look at the larger picture. But that's going to wrap us up for today, Alejandro. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, boys. We're going to go over to Coach Dipka now for Coach's Corner.
Yeah, Money Mander. I know you think your segment's done, but we're actually going to bring you right back in here. And yes, you are not out of the woods yet. For what happened on Wednesday, let's pull Money Mander in here.
Let's do it, buddy. Bring me in.
All right, Coach's Corner today. First, we're going to start with, we are going to roll the tape. For those who missed it, let's see what happened on Wednesday.
Are we closing green or red today, Alejandro?
I'm going to go red.
Diamond.
I'm going to go red.
Dipka.
I'm going with green. Coach Dipka may be wrong once, but he will not be wrong twice. Over 400 by the end of the day.
Cow pump is over. It's done.
You see when everyone's on one side, it's my indicator for a fucking trap. And Mander will be left with a bag of graves today. We're going to record this, and I'm going to post it tonight on Twitter. We'll look back, all right? All right, Money Mander, listen. I don't want to live in the past too much. We'll keep this segment pretty quick. But what do you have to say for yourself about this?
I was gonna say, is there a question coming, or like you're just gonna pull your neck and yourself back there? I do
have a question. Little pat on the back. Here. What do you got? What do you explain yourself?
Listen, so one of us did about 3 hours of due diligence, calculating numbers, came in with a fantastic Fed forecast segment. The other one just said all the traders are saying red, so I'm saying green. So I don't know what you want from me. I came in here with a ton of conviction. I did all the numbers. I did my research. I put myself in a position to trade with a high RR, and I did. I got smoked, but you know what? That's what you do. On a binary event, you have to put yourself in the best position to trade your conviction, and then you take stabs based off your risk tolerance. I didn't get like blown out here, right? We took 2 stabs on plays that if I was on the right side, calls went 20 yards. So had we sold, I would have had another 20 bagger. But we
Yeah,
didn't.
no, listen, you took this one on the chin like a champ. We thought that you didn't show up on Friday because you were nervous about, getting blasted for this. So we had to make sure on Monday morning we started it off right. But that's going to lead me into really the topic for today, which is I want to recap on your stance on the Santa rally. We talked about you're all for the tax selling before the new year. I said I was all for the Santa rally specifically at the end of the year. So I just want to know, after getting blasted on Wednesday, has your stance changed about the outlook for the remainder of just 2022? So this month.
Right. This would be where if you're taking Santa rally, quote unquote, it would have to start like now. This is really the start of us trading into December. And so, we saw the big leg on Thursday. Ultimately, it has to hold though. I would consider this a Santa rally if we close the year where we're at currently, right? That would 100%, I'd be like, all right, eat this one on the chin as well. We haven't closed over that trend line on SPX yet. So I'm not fully sold on this long yet. We saw NFP come in on Friday, got a little bit of sell off there. We're right into the open today. Like that's going to be a really strong leg of conviction to hold. If they can break above that trend line, then I'm going to, I'll eat that one on the chin as well and say we're definitely going to rally into the end of the year.
Yeah, and I can't lie. Like as strongly as I have felt coming in about the Santa rally, we did move significantly higher pretty fast right into this trend line. And I will say, sometimes the fast moves, right? Think about it like this. Everybody wanted that trend line last week, 2 weeks ago, right? Then it comes, but it came so quickly that now all of a sudden it doesn't look so good to retail traders, right? Now everyone's scared to take it, which makes me kind of believe that it's actually going to hold here. But we're going to find out in the next couple of days, maybe today or, coming weeks. So we'll know the answer to this sooner rather than later. I will say I'm not as confident about, the breaking of this trend line as I was about the Powell pump on Wednesday. We'll have to digest more information as it comes. I do think that tax selling may come early in December. And the Santa rally is really supposed to take place the last couple weeks of December. So I think that we could see a rejection of the trend line, create a higher low, and then maybe create that higher high, close over the trend line into 2023 is what I'm thinking. So we'll have to evaluate this as it comes, and we'll hop back on here for a real corner once we get more information this week. But thanks for joining us, and we'll pass it back to Dwayne here.
All right, awesome stuff there, guys. I'm now going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's take a look at the system, guys. So, of course, after last week's massive rally, we got the buy signal, but things became more difficult. NFP on Friday morning, we got the sell-off, and it was basically just a ton of chop after that massive move higher. So now, what is it that we're looking for headed into this week? I tweeted last night that I'm expecting a test of the 50 SMA on the 30-minute SPX chart early at some point this week, okay? If the 50 SMA can hold, big if, and it's sitting, just to kind of put this in perspective, it's sitting at about 400 SPY. So we're not there yet in the pre-market. If it can hold and the market makes a push higher, that is going to be a really good sign for bulls. If we get the breakdown, we could get the potential sell signal of the bearish cross of the 10 SMA below the 50 SMA, which would be my indicator that, hey, things are changing in the market. The short-term trend is changing, and I'm going to look to get bearish. Let's take a look at the hourly chart here. And as you guys can see, it's telling the exact same story. Above the 10 SMA, above the 50 SMA. Lucky for us, the 50 SMA is actually sitting in a very similar spot. So that SPY 400 level is going to be massive. So that's my top watch headed into this week. If it can hold, the market still has potential to trend higher. And whatever pullback we get to the 50 SMA could be just that, a pullback. If we get a break below, that is when you got to look at things a little bit differently, and you got to start to ask yourself, is the market changing short-term direction? And that's when I would say it's okay to start shorting this thing, but I am going to wait for that breakdown and sell signal below the 50 SMA. All right, guys. So now let's move over to Noah for unusual catch of the day. He's got some flow for us this morning.
check on the flow, and this flow is going to be an overview from something that we saw on Friday, right? And so this is going to be Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo is a Chinese ag tech stock, and this is not a name obviously that we trade, all the time, but this flow really stood out to me because of the size. And so on Friday we had repeated hits on the 88 and 89 calls 2 separate times. One of them came in for this is the one for about 400,000. We had another one come in for about 615,000 on, I believe, the 88 calls. And this was on Friday, once around midday and once right before the close, right? Why do I take note of this? The call volume on the stock was about 2.5 times higher than the 30-day average, which to me signals that something's going on there, right? What do you know? Over the weekend, we get all these Chinese stocks gapping on the basic reopening news, rumors out of China that they are going to be easing some of these COVID restrictions. Morgan Stanley upgrades China stocks to overweight in light of this policy shift. So Pinduoduo is going to open up about 4% higher today. The chart already looked pretty good. Ryan, if you want to throw that up for us, the chart really already looked pretty good after breaking out of like this multi-month base. Yeah, there we go. Out of this multi-month base for last week, we got a break over like that $75 level, pushing up to 90. We're going to open up at around 90 today. We'll see if they can continue to show some strength. And I'm really interested to see if we get a continuation of this flow from today, because that would mean that whoever was in there buying these calls for about 2 weeks out, their December 16th contracts, whoever was interested in buying these calls thinks that this run is not going to be done. This isn't a name that I would come in and immediately try and grab calls at the bell, right? Obviously, if you look at the chart, we had a pretty crazy breakout on the daily chart, and then obviously the news over the weekend is going to gap it up. You don't want to necessarily run in and chase that right at the bell. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So just keep that in mind. I'm particularly going to be watching the flow today and tomorrow to see if we get some continuation of this bullish activity. If so, I may try and get involved. If not in Pinduoduo, maybe some of the other Chinese names that are running off of this narrative. That's going to do it for Unusual Flow, and I'll send it back to Alejandro.
Thank you, Noah. Let's pass it over to Ramsey now for Bet the Bell.
All right, guys, let's go. Bet the Bell. I'm going to ask the panel a series of questions. They're going to give me their answers. Today is, more of a day where I want my man Money Mander to redeem himself. So there is no surprise on what our first question of the day is. Green or red today? Indices down about 0.5%, both respectively. Mander, we're starting it off right with you. Talk to me.
Great. What a great one to redeem myself on. A little coin flip here.
A coin flip, baby.
We're 50 points red just about, last I checked, in the pre-market session here on futures. So I'm just going to lean with red. I feel like that'd be a big gap for bulls to buy up and then squeeze us higher. If anything, we maybe see what we saw Friday and get the gap fill rejection, but I'm going to take red.
All righty. Dipka?
Yeah, this is an interesting one where actually, if you look at ES, we're sitting right at that 40-50 spot, which has been pretty pivotal. And if you look at the daily chart, we basically had a double top at 40-50 previously, and now today is the day that we're coming back and retesting 40-50. So it's like, if this holds today, I'm confident in a stretch higher for that higher low to continue and break that trend line. But today's really the pivot day, so it's tough to pinpoint it. More of a coin flip, like Mander said, but I'm gonna have to go with red here. It looks like they're gonna break this thing down and reject that overhead trend line.
All right. And Snipe, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with red as well. We had a pretty strong rally on Friday. I think that we might see a little pullback after seeing a day like that.
Beautiful. It's going to lead me into my next question. So I was looking at QQQ this morning. I set a line based off some things I'm seeing on the daily chart. So right now trading at around 290, down 0.5% this morning. Other than the $300 psych level, the main level I'm looking at on the daily is actually this gap fill level, 310. 310, we have a massive gap fill level, and 302 would be that gap fill entry where we start, price would start entering that gap. So 300, 310, I'm setting the line at 310, over under 310 QQQ by the end of the year. It's about 5.5%, 6% from where we are doing the mental math. Noah, what's our answer?
I know that you like to give misleading questions. So is that like a close of the year over 310, or is that like just tap it before the end of the year?
End of the year, we're going to be over or under 310.
There he goes. I'll give you the over. Over.
Hondo.
I like the over. Again, I keep saying this. Whenever I get asked these questions, it's the theme. What have we been seeing? The dips are continually bought up. And so I'm not going to bet against that at this point, right? So
Gotcha.
10.
Money Mander.
All right, so I think it hits. I don't think we close there, though. My anticipation is there's too many people watching this trend line. I think we get a false break over it to trap longs and then see profit taking into the end of the year and get those sells. So that would be my guess. We might tap it, but I don't think we close the year over it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. And so that's going to wrap it up for our market related questions. I got another question I want to ask the whole team. So last night, couldn't fall asleep, went out to my couch, decided to sleep on the couch. And Money Mander actually went to his mom's house last weekend. She gave him tons of Christmas decorations, tons of stockings, all the red stuff. So he decked out our apartment. I was gone on Saturday. I come back Saturday night. It looks like a Christmas winter wonderland. So I was thinking in my head, I got to ask some sort of Christmas related question. Thanksgiving's done. We're now into December. Home Alone or Elf? Which one are we choosing? What is your guys' choice over? These are my two favorite Christmas movies. I want to know. Noah, we'll start with you.
If it's Home Alone 2, I'm taking Home Alone 2. If it's Home Alone 1, I'm taking Elf.
Love it. Let's do Home Alone. Okay. You answered your question. Hondo.
Jeez. I mean, Will Ferrell's great. I'm going to go with Home Alone. It just feels like more classic. You know what I mean? Something about, I don't know. That was a movie I was watching up growing up. Elf was like a once or twice type thing.
That's fair.
Polar Express is the GOAT, though.
Polar Express.
I'm kind of pissed you don't have Polar Express in there. That's like
the Dipka Express.
Yeah.
Dipka, what's your answer?
Yeah, so fun fact here. I was actually a prop baby on Saturday Night Live when I was like 8 months old for Will Ferrell. So I'm going with Elf here. I'm also born on Christmas. I'm all about the holidays. I'll give you another recommendation. I saw one with Jonah Hill yesterday. It was called The Night Before. It was pretty hilarious, honestly. It was like more of an adult take on a Christmas movie, but I really like that one. But I'm going with Elf for your question.
Yeah, I do like that Jonah Hill movie as well. It's more of a friends family show, and not bringing in any NSFW onto this show, but thank you for your suggestion. Snipe.
I'm going to have to go with Elf. I think Will Ferrell's hilarious. Yeah, Elf. I think
Money Mander, it's all up to you. Break the tie.
Tough one here. Let it be stated and on the record here. My favorite Christmas movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Dude absolutely cracks me up. But in the two here, I'm going to take Home Alone. I just think it's one of those classics. Like, I don't need to be laughing. It's just one of my favorites of all time.
Gotcha. I mean, me personally,
and I still laugh. I mean, when he's going up the stairs and steps on the nail, like that movie's just unbelievable.
Macaulay Culkin's undefeated, bro. Undefeated.
They're both two classics, but that's going to do it for Bet the Bell. Back to you, Hondo.
All right. We're going to go over to Coach Dipka now for Dipka's certified levels of the day.
All right, thank you guys. Let's get right into it. You cannot leave Beat the Bell without some levels. So we're going to pull up the chart. We're going to set the timer, okay? I'm going to wake you up. I know half of you are in bed still. Dwayne's got you sleeping, wanting you to go back, taking a nap, right? We're good to go. Ryan, let's set the timer. Let's get the chart up here. We got 4 levels today. 4 levels you need to focus on, okay? That's it. Real simple. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. What is our resistance? Well, we obviously have the daily trend line. Everyone and their grandmother knows about it, right? So we're going to ignore that one for now and talk about 410. 410, wow. What a rejection we saw the other day. We need to keep our eyes there. If we break over this timeline, it's not going to be confirmed for me until 410 is also breached, right? It's cool and all to slightly tap over the trend line, but we see false breakouts all the time. Until 410 is cleared, we are not out of the woods yet. 411, 73 is another one we got to keep our eyes on this week. If you draw your fibs, this is actually going to be a 100%. What does that mean? It's the top level from a previous daily spot. So a level that we rejected and sold off pretty hardly from. Okay, so we got to keep our eyes on those two as our resistance this week. Now, 405.14 is going to be our pivot level. That is the level we want to watch for longs and shorts, right? I don't really care which way it really closes. I'm just looking at which way it's going to give me that confirmation up, right? That's going to line up similarly to that 40-50 on ES, which I also mentioned before. So that's our pivot for the week, and our support is obviously 400. I know this seems a little obvious. I never like to go with the obvious ones, but if you look at your daily chart, it's pretty clear 400 has gotten a lot of big rejections and bounces. So as long as we're trading over 400, I am still going to be cautious to the downside. But 405, 14 pivot, 400 for the support, 410 and 411, 73 for our resistance this week. That's going to do it for the daily levels done properly. 60 seconds, didn't go a second over. As always, we're going to pass it back to Dwayne Trades here to put you back to bed.
All right. Well done, Coach. Well done. Now, guys, it is time for Market Moron. One unlucky head trader is this morning's Market Moron. Ryan. All right, so we all know our friend Mark Minervini over at on CNBC. We all know the famous clip when asked what UPST does. He had no idea, even though his fund had recently bought the stock. Well, Beat the Bell now has their very own version of Mark Minervini. Ryan, if you could please play the video.
Putting money in right now include Upstart. That is one.
So, Upstart's up about 25% just in 4 days. That's a good looking name. Very powerful, very strong earnings. These stocks are.
What do they do?
Really
I don't even know them. What do they do?
Excuse me?
What does Upstart do?
I'm sorry.
What kind of company is it?
Yeah, I'm not. You're breaking up.
Does energy get this convincing pullback? Are we primed for this pullback, or are we going to continue higher? Snipe.
I think that we could see a little continuation in energy. Overall today, XOM does have a nice looking chart.
Oh, Snipes. Holy shit, brother. Listen. We love you, but this is kind of the time to come clean. You had no idea what you were talking about.
XOM finished green that day.
Hold on. That's not.
Green. And also the
you were shitting your pants. You were shitting your pants.
Yes, Market Moron.
I'd like to ask Snipes a question.
Okay, go for it.
Snipe. So what is energy?
Energy is gas, power. Things
You
that
can't
power.
keep putting them on blast like that. No, but it's all fun. Snipes, we love you.
Hey, listen,
That
I
was just
gotta,
so funny.
No,
I gotta
but for real,
jump to the defense of Snipes here and just remind everyone that Ramsey Rippers did TA on VIX. Okay, so I don't want to fucking hear it. I got you, Snipe.
Oh my God. All right. Let's go over to member spotlight now, guys. We're going to highlight a member who has been absolutely killing it in the Discord as of late. Ryan, run it. All right. So here's the honest truth, guys. So I'm going to do my best here. I think Sith is how you pronounce this individual's name. We actually met and deliberated over how to say this individual's name for quite a bit of time. That's my best attempt. Nonetheless, absolutely killing it in the Discord. Consistency, not to mention, this individual has been in the Discord for a while now, and I've seen him working a lot, always in the live chat, and you can start to see the results now through gains and him just letting us know, hey guys, I'm starting to become more confident as a trader, and that is exactly what we like to see. So once again, congratulations to Sith. I hope that I'm saying that right. Everybody that's in the Discord, make sure that you guys congratulate him in the premium chat. But well done, my friend. Well done. All right, guys. Now for our last segment of the show, we're going to do today's top watches. All right. So to start today's top watches, we're going to go ahead and start with Snipes, who's going to give us some micro levels. Snipes, what are you taking a look at, brother?
I got 4 levels for you guys on SPY as normal. The top level we got to the top is 407.29. I'm looking at this level as a possible rejection throughout the day. Right under there, I got one at 406.38. This level right here has been shown to be a pivotal point during last week's price action. Under here, I got 405.71. This is another potential rejection level. And then down below there, we got 404.86. I think that today is going to be a pretty interesting day, and we could definitely see some bounces around these levels.
All right, Coach.
Yeah, so we're just going to take a look back at that same chart because, I really want to keep it simple coming into this week. I will adjust accordingly as this week develops, but for now, that 405.14 is going to be so crucial today. We're going to open up and test it, okay? We're going to open up and we should test 405.14 coming from below it. So I want to see if 405.14 starts to reject early. I think a test of 400 is impending today. Okay, so we're going to watch this 405.14 today. If we cannot break it close to open, then I think we are in jeopardy of testing 400 today.
Diamond, what do you got?
My top watch is going to be Pinduoduo. We already talked about the call flow. They've got the catalyst in the China reopening. They've got the Morgan Stanley upgrade. Again, this is not something that I want to chase today necessarily. Would love to see a pullback, maybe even fill this gap from the weekend before looking to get long here. But Pinduoduo top watch into this week.
Mander.
Today I got Meta, which kind of kills me here because I know Dwayne Capital is long, but I'm watching this for upside. This got a candle close over previous year-to-date low, so I'm watching this for gap fill and then up to that trend line resistance. Because as I said, this trend line in SPY and SPX, I think there's just too many people watching it. I mean, you got like little boy Johnny down the street, just got potty trained. He's out here cranking Instagram videos saying, watch this trend line on SPX. Like, too many people are on this for it to actively reject. So I think we get this false breakout, and I'm watching upside on Meta.
Dwayne Capital is long Meta up about 20% right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Too much too soon, it feels like. All right. And Ramsey.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, hell of an ad on Meta for Dwayne Capital. The guy's ripping it. But my top watch for today is Paramount. Right here we have the daily chart. You can see 2050 has been a major, major resistance level. Had 5 clear tests and rejections over the last 2.5 months. It's going to be almost 3 months below this level. Overhead, we have 2089 gap fill. That's the level I'm watching today. Honestly, anticipating a break of this 2050 into that gap fill level at 2089. And if we break this gap through 2089, I wouldn't be surprised if we test 22 very, very shortly within the next week or week and a half. So Paramount 2050 gap fill entry level, 2089 gap fill, the levels I'm watching today. If we stall at 2089, I'll look to add puts.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this morning's show. Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please give us a like on YouTube. That helps us out a ton. And for those of you that don't know, we have 7 head traders, the 6 of us and Mo, trading all day, every day, live in the Kane Capital Discord. You can go to kane-capital.com to trade with us. Let's do it, guys. Let's have an awesome week, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.